What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another Datsun video. As you can tell by the shirt right there, we're working on the Datsun once again. Feels good. It's always fun to spend time with my baby. So we're gonna take a little bit more time today and see if we can get the car running the way we want it. Now, I have this, which if you guys don't know, it's a cold start valve. Now this is actually off of the motor that is in the car right now, but we used my old intake. So my old intake is on the car. But luckily I had a couple spare parts that we're going to be transferring from the intake to see if they make a difference. Now, doing this, there's always that chance that the parts that we're putting on are bad. In that case, then it's just shitty luck. But I'm hoping that the chances are pretty slim. So I'm gonna take off the cold start valve here because I have a feeling it has something to do with that. So to give you a little bit of a lesson, because I've been doing a bunch of research on this little guy right here. I'm gonna clean this thing up a little bit before we put it in the car though. But basically what happens is when the car is at a certain temperature, so when the car is cold, the engine itself, there's the sensor, one of the sensors in the housing that were seized. It tells, or it recognizes the temperature of the engine and then opens up the valve to let in extra fuel into the intake. And it's called a thermotime switch. So what happens is the thermal portion of the actual switch itself, that is to tell or recognize the temperature, and then the time aspect just means that it's only allowing something opening or closing for a certain amount of time. So it'll open up the valve, I think it is for 8 seconds, so it'll allow fuel to go into the intake for that amount of time, so that way it allows the car to start easier. So like, as I was doing this research, I was saying, well, the Datsun takes forever to start. Like cranking forever. Once the engine's warm, it's fine. Like I can shut it off, start it up, no problem. And then I was thinking as well, it also runs really rich, or really shitty, I should say, just while it's warming up. So that sensor system between the valve here and the thermotime switch or sensor, something's not working between the two. So luckily I have a new thermotime switch and this cold start valve. So this might be bad. I don't know. Doesn't look too bad. We'll see what happens when we actually put it on. So I'm assuming that it's something to do with that system, because once the engine gets to a certain temperature, that system just gets overridden. That switch doesn't do anything because the engine is now warm. So it only affects the performance of the car when the engine is cold, and that's the only time I'm having issues. So that's what I'm thinking could be the cause of this. Once the car, like I said, I'm gonna say this one more time, once the car's up to temperature, the car runs fine, it idles fine, everything is smooth. The car could still be running a little bit rich once the engine is warm, but I think that just might be a minor adjustment with the airflow meter. But I kinda just wanna get the starting and the rough running while it's cold issue sorted. The fine tuning of the car running a little bit rich, I can figure that out down the line. So I've been talking for 5 minutes almost, probably. Let's get into work. I'm gonna get all the sensors in the housing. I'm gonna swap out this. I am going to fill the car up with coolant, which will probably be on another day because I don't have coolant. And then we'll fire it up and see what happens. I'm feeling positive. This is the third time, so third time might be the charm, but I don't want to get myself too hyped, too excited before I know the end result. So I'm gonna put some tunes on now and just dive right into this and have some fun on a Sunday. I'm on a move, that I'm on a Alright guys, this is the one that was in the Datsun. As you can see the bottom there, you can't even really tell because it's all gunked and plugged up. So that's where the little injector is, injector valve. And this is the one off of the other intake that I have. So just because how messed up this is, I'm assuming that it's been leaking or gunked or not working the way it should. So now we're gonna go ahead and install this one that looks a little bit better, and hopefully we can see a difference and fix this issue that we've been having. Alright guys, we got some coolant. We're gonna try get the Datsun filled up and then go from there. Start it, see how it runs. We're hoping now with the new sensors, the cold start valve installed, that it'll run the way it should. We'll find out, won't we? Alright guys, it's the moment of truth. We got coolant in there. We had the vacuum system that Anthony has. It pretty much applies vacuum to the cooling system, and then it sucks in coolant to fill up all those gaps that it, how do you explain it?
Just to fill in the empty space.
Fill in the empty space is literally the easiest way to explain it. There was a little bit of a leak, or possible leak, because it wasn't holding vacuum 100%, but we tightened up a few things that seemed to be a little bit better. We're gonna try and start it now. Before I do though, I want to say thank you guys for putting all your advice in the comments. Even though I haven't been getting back to everyone, I have been looking at them, have been reading them, have been using your advice as a guideline to try and get the Datsun running good again. So let's see if it runs good. I'm gonna pass the camera here to Anthony, see what happens.
Cycle the key first, see if the pump runs constantly.
Okay. The pump must be dying. Do you hear it? Here, let me turn the key back off.
I'm sure the battery's dead. Try to start it.
Oh wow. Yeah.
Yeah, battery's cooked.
So that could be why.
Well, that's definitely why the thing starts. It sounds like it's dying.
I'll have to put the booster pack on it.
Alright, hold on. Commercial break. I got our level 1 booster pack on there. If we need to go to the level 2 one, it's over there. So, let's see what happens.
Nothing.
Alright, we gotta bring up the big guns.
Something's not connected right.
Okay, we got the stage 2 Giga booster on there. This thing's meant for boosting big rigs, so
Big
we
rig.
go. Oh, that sounds better.
Yeah.
Pump's still running non-stop.
Let's see. Yeah.
Still no? Oh! Started. Not good.
Alright guys, we got the car running. Sputtering a little bit. But it corrected itself really quick compared to what it used to do. running decent now, but we want to make some changes to the airflow meter. I don't want to spend too much more time on this just because the car does run fine once it gets up to temperature. So it's something that's very minimal in a sense. The only other thing is that the car does run very rich. So we're gonna try and fix that by adjusting the airflow meter. If we can get it to run a little bit leaner, and then I think we won't even worry about the starting up issue. All right, guys, still don't really know where we're at with this, but started, it ran a little bit finicky in the beginning, and the fact that the battery was dead probably didn't help the starting issue, so we're gonna let it sit. We had it running more so just to get the coolant running through the system, get the car up to temperature, let the thermostat open. Checking for leaks. We have to clean up the side of the block because we couldn't tell if it was leaking or not, or if it was coolant that dripped out from when we were fiddling with the housing. So still at square one. Tomorrow morning, start it up. It'll be nice and cold. See if it made any difference. If not, that's it. I'm calling it there, and that's just gonna be where we leave it for now, because I want to start jumping in and focusing on the stuff that really matters, because honestly this stuff can be taken care of anytime, can be fine-tuned at any time, but doing the big work that we have planned, that needs to get done before summer, because then I'll have a lot of downtime with this car, and I really don't want that to be the case. So thanks for sticking with us. It's been few straight videos of just getting nowhere, but like I said, that's not going to be the case soon, because we're going to leave this behind us and then we're going to move forward, warp speed ahead. Alright guys, yes, I'm in my pajamas. That's besides the point. Let's try this again. You guys heard how the car started yesterday, but we were having issues with the starting, so it's been sitting for a while. I do think it's actually leaking some coolant, so we're gonna have to go over the system, but I'm not too worried about that right now. Let's just see if we can tell if there was any difference between yesterday, today, with any of the changes we made. Booster pack on. Let's see what happens. Hold on. Before I close off this video, let me just clean y'all. Smudges like crazy. Ooh. Is that better? I don't know. Alright guys. As you just saw or heard, still having some issues. It does start, it does run. Didn't look like there was any coolant leak right now when I checked it, so I don't know. We're gonna leave it for now. I'm gonna stay positive. We'll probably tackle it later on down the road once the Datsun is running, and the weather warms up, because this isn't going to limit us from driving the car. It's just running a little bit funky at first, and then it's just running rich. So we can do these fine tuning adjustments when we do the other fine tuning adjustments from the stuff that we're going to start diving into soon. So if that makes any sense, long story short, we're not going to be tackling this problem with the Datsun anymore. We're leaving it, and we are going to start diving into the meat and potatoes of what we wanted to do this winter. So that's perfect. Key is just to stay positive, keep moving forward, right? TJ Hunt. Didn't mean for that to happen, but it naturally blossomed, so we're keeping that. But thanks for watching. As always, stay classy, crew.